Good evening and welcome to our staff, our guests, and certainly our residents of Riviera Beach. And also welcome to our board members who are here with us this evening. We are going to go ahead and commence with our P&Z board meeting. It is 6:33, Thursday, April 21.
8.
8, did I say 8?
You said 20.
Okay. Thursday, April 8th, 2021. Okay. Before we start, I just want to give a notification. If you wish to speak on any item on this agenda, please complete a public comment card and provide it to planning and zoning staff. Cards must be submitted prior to board discussion of an item. Thank you. May we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Board Member Anthony Brown. We will have a moment of silence and Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May we have a roll call of our board members' attendance, please?
Anthony Brown.
Present.
William Wiley.
Present.
Margaret Shepherd.
Here.
James Gallen.
Here.
Renee Burgess.
Here.
Evelyn Harris Clark.
Present.
Moe Toohey. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Do we have any acknowledgement of board members' absence notification? I know that we did receive one via email.
No, Madam Chair.
Okay. Let's go on to. Thank you. I'm a bit crowded over here. Thank you. All right, let's go on to item number 4, directly to our agenda. And let's find out if we have any additions and deletions to the agenda. Are there, staff, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's go on to item number 5, and any disclosures by the board members before we adopt the agenda.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
my company was hired by the Port of Palm Beach to perform the land survey on the parcel in item 8B. So I will not be voting tonight.
Okay, we have one disclosure by our board member. And now the adoption of the agenda. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented this evening?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
And may we have a vote on the adoption of the agenda?
Anthony Brown.
Yes.
William Wiley.
Yes.
Margaret Shepherd.
Yes.
James Gallen.
Yes.
Renee Burgess.
Yes.
Evelyn Harris Clark.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Okay, the next agenda item is number 6, approval of March 11, 2021 minutes. We had an opportunity to review these earlier. Do we have any objections or changes to the approval of the minutes? Seeing that we have none, may I have a motion to accept the approval of the minutes of March 11, 2021?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
Thank you. May we have a roll call on the approval of the minutes?
Anthony Brown.
Yes.
William Wiley.
Yes.
Margaret Shepherd.
Yes.
James Gallen.
Yes.
Renee Burgess.
Yes.
Evelyn Harris Clark.
Yes.
Unanimous
Thank you. All right, let's go on to item number 7 on the agenda. We do not have any unfinished business, is that correct? Thank you. Okay, we are now going to go on to item number 8, which is new business, being presented by our planning and zoning staff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm sorry if I'm standing in your way. For the record, Mary Savage Dunham for Development Services. Tonight, we have before you.
Just one moment. Is the mic on so we can hear a little bit better? Or you need to get a little bit closer to the mic?
Tonight, we have before you 2 applications for Florida South Star Logistics. We have.
No,
zoning-
I'm gonna say timeout. I don't think we hear you. I don't think the mic is on.
Walter, my green light is not on.
You're good.
You can still see, okay.
We seldom have technical difficulties, so we'll probably do one.
Okay. Right on 13.
Well, is this working? Can you hear me better now?
No.
The light is not lit yet. I can certainly come present from down there. That's fine. Madam Chair, is that okay with you?
Oh, that's fine.
All right. May I proceed?
Yes, can everyone hear pretty good?
Is this better for
Yes,
everybody now?
that's much better. Thank
Okay.
you.
Very good. So tonight we have before us two applications from Florida Sunstar Logistics, and I'm going to present them to you together. We have a zoning text amendment 2101 and a site plan 2101. The first, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, approving zone text amendment ZA 2101 from Florida Sunstar Logistics LLC to revise the Land Development Code for IG, General Industrial, to insert new subsection A into section 31-383 sub 2, increasing the allowable building height in the central area of the port from 50 feet to 150 feet, where the central area is defined as, quote, that area bordered by Westport Road and Broadway, Avenue E, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, further identified by parcel control numbers 56, 43, 42, 33, 29, 000, 0020, and providing for conflicts, severability, and codification, and providing for an effective date. Secondly, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, approving site plan application SP 2101 from Florida Sunstar Logistics LLC to allow for the construction of an industrial cement storage tank, AKA dome, and an accessory office and equipment buildings on a approximately 3.97 acre area at the port, identified by parcel control number 56, 43, 42,
Yes.
33, 29, 000, having a port future land use designation and a general industrial IG zoning designation, providing for conditions of approval and providing for an effective date. So this picture here is an illustration of both areas. So the larger shaded area is the area that is the subject of the zoning text amendment. And the smaller area on the south, the bottom of this picture is the south. In the bold red outline area is the area of the site plan. And what I want to draw your attention to is that this parcel that involves the site plan extends underneath the overpass. And so that's an important distinction. And that's why those little rectangles in red, those are like the support columns for the overpass. So the location is within the Port of Palm Beach, between Avenue E and Broadway on the east and west, and Port Road and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard to the north and south. So zoning amendment 2101 is an application for approval to increase the maximum building height from 50 feet to 150 feet on approximately 17.75 acres of land at the port in the center of the IG General Industrial Zoning District. The area subject to the increased height is defined as that area bordered by Westport Road and Broadway, Avenue E, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. The need for the requested text amendment comes from a desire to facilitate and expand the opportunities for future growth and economic development of the Port of Palm Beach, and to allow for the construction of a 150-foot high material storage structure by the applicant, Florida Sunstar Logistics. Now, there already are existing structures at the port of similar or greater height, which you're likely familiar with, the FPL stacks and the CMix silos. In addition, some of the light poles that are out there are not quite 150 feet tall, they're 110 feet tall. So you already have structures at the port exceeding 50 feet in height. I also want to note that the increased height area is just a central portion of the overall IG district. Site Plan 2101 is an application for site plan approval for the development of a portion of that increased height area. Florida Sunstar LLC would like to develop a 12,271 square foot, 150-foot tall cement materials storage dome capable of storing 50,000 tons of material, a one-story, 2,080 square foot office building, a 2,568 square foot mechanical equipment building, and the associated parking and mechanical equipment on an approximately 3.97 acre portion of the 17.75 acres that would benefit from the related text amendment. Of note, the materials storage dome is to store dry materials used to create concrete. The materials in concrete include stones, sand, and cement. This tank could not be used to store liquids. This is not a batch plant, and the closest resident in Riviera Beach is approximately 1,400 feet away. So again, this is another image to show you the location of the site plan, and it's already a completely paved section of the port. It's already being utilized, so this is really a redevelopment or reactivation of this portion of the port. This is a close-up of the site plan, and I will point out to you that where the parking is shown, the parking is actually underneath the overpass. And that's why I pointed out to you that this parcel that's being developed goes underneath the roadway. So the employee parking area that you see there is actually underneath the overpass. The dome is proposed to be decorated with a mural showing dolphins, and the words Riviera Beach will be along the top edge of the tank twice, so as to be visible to motorists traveling either way over the bridge. And this is a rendering of what it would look like during the day and what it would look like at night, illuminated. Of course, the final design is subject to consideration by this board and then ultimately the council. But this is the proposal in front of you tonight. And our city staff recommends approval of the zoning text amendment application ZA 2101 to increase the maximum building height from 50 feet to 150 feet on approximately 17.75 acres of land at the port in the center of the IG General Industrial Zoning District. The area subject to the increased height is defined as that area bordered by Westport Road and Broadway, Avenue E, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. For Site Plan 2101, staff recommends approval of the site plan application SP 2101 for Florida Sunstar LLC to develop a 12,271 square foot, 150 foot tall material storage dome capable of storing 50,000 tons of material, a one-story, 2,080 square foot office building, a 2,568 square foot mechanical equipment building, and associated parking and mechanical equipment on approximately 3.97 acres of property known as PCN number 56434329000020, subject to the following conditions. 1, the applicant shall provide a check payable to the City of Riviera Beach for not less than $45,285.15 for landscape improvements in the city prior to the issuance of a building permit. 2, construction must be initiated within 18 months of the effective date of this resolution in accordance with Section 31-60B of the City Code of Ordinances. Demolition, site preparation, and/or land clearing shall not be considered construction. Building permit application and associated plans and documents shall be submitted in its entirety and shall not be accepted by city staff in a partial or incomplete manner. 3, City Council authorizes city staff to approve future amendments to this site plan administratively, so long as the site plan does not deviate greater than 5% from the originally approved site plan. 4, This development must receive final certificate of occupancy from the city for all buildings and/or units approved within 5 years of the approval of the adopting resolution, or the adopting resolution shall be considered null and void, requiring the applicant to resubmit application for site plan approval and reinitiate the site plan approval process. 5, all future advertising must state that the development is located in the city of Riviera Beach. Fees and penalties in accordance with the City Code, Section 31-554, will be levied against the property owner and/or business for a violation of this condition. 6, once approved, this resolution shall supersede any previous site plan approval resolutions associated with this property, causing previous site plan approval resolutions to be null and void. 7, the concurrently processed ordinance ZA 2101 must be adopted, approved, and become effective prior to the site plan approval becoming effective. 8, the applicant shall consider partnering with the city as possible to identify opportunities to provide outreach and support to local residents, including but not limited to programs such as the Youth Empowerment Program, the Reentry Center, or the establishment of a charitable foundation. 9, the applicant shall actively advertise employment opportunities for temporary and permanent positions within the city of Riviera Beach, including participation at community job fairs or hosting specialized recruitment events. 10, because the location of the dome structure, bridge, and intersection of Access Road and Broadway offer a unique opportunity to visually invite residents, businesses, and the public into the city of Riviera Beach, Florida Sunstar Logistics shall participate in efforts to enhance and beautify the bridge and southern gateway to the city by working with the city and other partners. 11, the final design of the mural on the dome structure shall be to the satisfaction of the City Council and shall be installed prior to the issuance of the certificate of occupancy. Certificate of occupancy. And Madam Chair, that concludes my presentation.
Thank you so very much. I would like to address this to our board. I would like to take a holistic approach to this. The staff has given their presentation. I would like for us to hold our questions until the applicant has an opportunity to present their entire presentation. And I believe that a lot of our questions would be addressed. And for those that have not been addressed, we will open it up respectfully if your question is towards the applicant or towards the staff. But I would like to take a holistic approach to this project. So if we may, I would like the applicant to representative to introduce yourself and check the podium and see which mic works.
Just the arrow.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is Greg Vanderveld. I'm the Vice President of Strategic Development for Florida Sunstar Logistics. And with me tonight are the project manager, Mark Jackson, along with several other professionals and also representatives from the port in the event that you have some questions for them as well.
Well, thank you and welcome to the city of Riviera Beach.
Thank you.
Florida Sunstar Logistics, LLC.
Thank you very much. Again, I want to thank you for the opportunity to present and give some additional information. Perhaps some of it will feel like a repeat for you, but hopefully it will answer a few other questions that you may have, and then at the end of that presentation, be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. You may go ahead.
Thank you. Hopefully you can see behind me or at the other screen, but the first slide provides an elevation view of the project and a location within the port. This is similar to what you've already seen. The proposed text amendment zoning area is centrally located, as noted, in the port and is approximately 17 acres, with our site representing approximately a third of that area, which is roughly 4 acres. The main facility will be a 50,000-ton single storage structure with the port-approved dry, non-hazardous cement product. The structure is designed to only store non-hazardous dry products. No storage of liquid or hazardous materials would be possible in the design that we have. The site will also include personnel office and equipment room. At the request of city staff, we've worked hard to come up with a design that complements the skyline and enhances the overall appearance for Riviera Beach. At a premium cost to Florida Sunstar, we are working to achieve a look as illustrated in these renderings and those that you saw in the previous presentation. The dome itself has a non-traditional low-profile roof that would allow for a parapet wall to square off the top and provide signage and illumination. We also propose an ocean scene in graphical form to complement the structure, similar to the way several other tanks are in the area. In terms of existing port structures, the slide here provides several exhibits of other structures in the area that were noted earlier and that are above 150 feet. In particular, it is existing cement silos and the FP&L power plant stacks. Those both are at or above 150 feet, but wanted to just provide you some illustrations of those facilities. With regard to employee, truck, and traffic, we don't expect to have a major impact in the area. Our bulker trucks will enter the port through the Western Security Checkpoint on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. They'll enter our site from the west at Avenue E, get loaded, and exit under the Broadway Avenue onto Access Road at the controlled intersection of Broadway. In terms of volume, traffic would be spread out over a 24-hour period. We estimate the employee traffic to be approximately 70 trips per day, which in reality is 35 round trips. And we estimate truck traffic to be approximately 100 trips per day, which would be 50 round trips over the 24-hour period. In terms of proximity to residential properties, with the site being central to the port property, the closest residence to the south is approximately 1,050 feet. For Riviera Beach residents, it would be 1,400 feet to the west and 1,500 feet to the north. And just for a note, it's approximately 4,400 to the east. As a company, we work hard to lead with purpose in our community support. We seek to make a positive impact on individuals, their families, and communities for generations. This is an important piece of who we are. We look to make personal commitments to interact with coworkers, our customers, and the community. We have a rich history of giving back a percentage of our profits to meaningful local programs and initiatives. Several examples of that would obviously be job fair and job training, but also local food depositories and Habitat for Humanity, faith-based initiatives, beautification and community initiatives as well. We estimate the investment to be approximately $27 million. We anticipate approximately 100 short-term construction jobs and 110 full-time direct and indirect jobs. These local jobs will be made up of management, operators, deckhands, and mechanics and truck drivers. We are committed to recruiting and developing local talent. We value diversity in the workplace and feel it strengthens our workforce. We're excited about the possibility of operating Riviera Beach and having a positive impact on the community. So I'd like to thank you for your time, and we look forward to your support and approval of these applications and open to any questions you may have.
Thank you so very much. If I may just ask a question, if you can share with us, I don't know if I missed it, your home-based domicile? Where's your headquarters?
We're located in the Midwest, in the Chicagoland area. That is our main base. We do have operations here in South Florida, down in Miami and Fort Lauderdale area.
Let me ask another question in the same vein. Do you have or had projects of the same magnitude in Florida or elsewhere?
We do. We have done similar structures like this in other areas up in the Midwest. We also have been investing quite a bit in our capital infrastructure across our businesses, and this would be a key project for us as well. So this is a common type of project for us.
And on a scale, where does this particular project of $27 million rank in terms of the other projects past?
It's one of our higher ones. Some of our other facilities and some of our other operations require less capital, but this is a significant one for us in our business, and ranked fairly high.
Sure, thank you. Generally, my questions and the board's question, we just want to make sure that we paint a clear picture for our residents who may not be with us this evening but are watching, and to make sure that we are their thinking heads and we can get their questions of what they may ask, that hopefully we are their spokesperson. So I thank you for those questions, and so now I'm going to open it up to the board. I don't want to dominate the questions, although I do have a lot, and I'm pretty sure that some of the questions are going to come from the board here, so I don't want to be redundant. I do want to say, personally, I did walk the site. I actually live by the site, 3 minutes from this proposed project. So some of my questions will be geared because it would directly impact my neighborhood.
Okay.
And with that, I am going to open the questions up to our board, and I am going to start with our vice chair, and we are going to move down all the way to my far right, and then we're going to circle back, and we're going to start to my far left. So I am going to start with Madam Vice Chair.
I'm sorry, before that begins, could I ask my team to come up, and
Sure,
so it'll be a lot easier
absolutely.
if they wouldn't mind coming up, and be a lot easier. And
Madam Chair, you
Efficient.
surprised me. I was going to say, I would probably say start with you because you are so familiar with the area and it's in your community. A lot of the questions that you have would probably be helpful for us to hear first,
Okay.
if the board does not mind. Okay.
All right, let me go ahead and start. Again, I walked the site, and you use the terminology cement stored tank. I want to be clear, is it truly a cement stored tank or a metal tank, for the record?
it is a concrete storage dome. It's made of concrete and steel.
Okay, it is. And let me also ask a question. When you look at other structures there at the port, I'm not sure exactly what's in those other structures at the port, possibly dry product or possibly chemical. But nonetheless, from their tanks, they have piping that moves from those structures and moves up underground. And I would assume that it moves under the underpass of the bridge over to the other side of the port where the ships are. Would your particular structure have that same configuration of moving your dry cement products?
It would. We would convey that product underground in a convey pipe through air, pneumatics, and then it would be blown up inside the storage facility.
Could you clarify for us, please, the dry cement product? I want to understand its contents of hazard level. I want to understand its fluidity in terms of being in storage and moving through that particular pipeline.
Mm-hmm. It's an inert product. It has no hazardous elements to it. It is produced and manufactured by using limestone and other products to create the cement powder. So it's a very inert, non-hazardous material. It acts similar to, it's more in a dust form when it's in larger storage that would be conveyed through the pipes. But it's all contained within the storage itself.
If it's a powdery substance and moves through that pipe, is it some sort of blower system that's pushing it through?
Yes.
Unlike liquid that just freely flows through, there's a system that's blowing it in the direction of where it's going to eventually be used?
Correct. There are air pumps that would actually convey it from ship and move it through the pipes, and all that would be enclosed.
Okay, and you said that it's moving to the ships. So does that mean it is going to board the cargo ship, if you will, and it just leaves the port?
It's actually the opposite. So if I confused you, I'm sorry. We're actually taking product off ship and then conveying that into the dome for storage. And then it's within usually several days, it will actually leave the facility and be distributed through the market to support construction projects.
Am I correct in asking that as you build this structure and the other related structures at the port, that you have a lease agreement with the port?
We're currently under negotiations with the port right now and working toward that. So we would have a long-term lease agreement with the port.
And when you say long-term lease agreement at $27 billion, it's not going to be a 5-year agreement,
No.
nor a 10-year agreement. You may possibly outlive me in terms of the agreement. So can you share where you think you're going with that lease agreement?
We are currently under negotiations with a 20-plus year lease and operating agreement, and that would have additional extensions on it as well.
And does that give you the option that after 20 years, let's say that you decide that you want to, for whatever your business model is, go on to a different project, or you may not have need for it, that you open it up, either you sell this or you have first option of refusal? How does this work?
We currently do not have any intentions of doing that. That certainly, would be something that's always possible, but not something in our long-term planning. And to give you a little bit of perspective in our company, we're a 4th-generation family-owned company, and often we look at projects of this magnitude generationally. What is the 5th generation? What's the 6th generation of our business? And so we don't have any plans or intentions to be selling it or transferring it to any other operator. We see this as something as a long-term investment for us.
And I understand that, and I guess I would, if I were the port, like to see that in writing. I mean, you verbally sharing that with us, but would that be a part of your contractual agreement with the port, so that they at least know on their end that what your intentions are, that you don't have any intentions of moving?
We have been in discussions with port staff for quite some time, talking and working with them on our agreement, and certainly at the appropriate time that would be made available.
Notification went out to residents of Riviera Beach about the project. If anyone had any concerns about the structure and its contents being on the port to come forward at this particular meeting, I did walk the port and looked at the project with neighbors so that we can get a clear understanding of how it was going to impact those Riviera Beach residents within proximity. But I noticed that the structure is more closer towards the end of the bridge near West Palm Beach. And those homes were a lot closer to the structure than the homes in Riviera Beach. Mm-hmm. Were there notifications that went out to that particular municipality of those homes that were closest to where this structure was going to be built?
I think we just followed the ordinance of how that was distributed. Perhaps Ms. Dunham could share a little bit about what that was?
Madam Chair, if I may, we did send out courtesy notices. We are required to send notices to owners within 300 feet. We did also do courtesy notices to houses immediately adjacent to the port, although they were beyond the 300 feet. And I did notice the city of West Palm Beach directly, and I did not receive any comments. We did not direct mail to anybody in West Palm Beach beyond the municipality.
Well, thanks for the clarity. I
Thank
guess if West Palm Beach had any concerns, they would be here. Okay. Let me take my glasses off. So we got that. And I did have a question about accessory structures, but I believe those were clarified. Office structures and an equipment building. Okay. All right. I am not going to dominate any more questions. I do have more, so I would like to go ahead and open it up to the board. And Vice Chair, it's okay for you to go?
Yes, Madam Chair. Yes, I wanted to propose this question to the city about other structures of this height within the city in industrial, general industrial zones. I know they say it's some already on that site, but I want to know in other parts of the city.
And before we get an answer, just to our guests, you don't have to stand the entire time. If you want to have a seat, I want to, us to be courteous. We
Yeah,
don't want you to
thank you.
collapse.
Well, I asked them up because they've been a great resource and helpful, and it's a team effort, so.
All right, but you feel
But
free
thanks.
to take a seat. Feel like your legs are tired. Thanks.
Madam Vice Chair, if I may, your question is specific to the IG zone?
Yes, well, let's do two parts. Let's do specific to the IG, and then let's do overall.
Okay, so I will answer to the best of my ability. I am not aware of other structures within the IG zone that are not within the port that exceed 150 feet, but I do not profess to, be the expert on Riviera Beach. I'm still learning things every day. I will also say that in other zones, we do allow buildings up to 200 feet in several other zoning districts in town, and that would be our housing, multifamily housing, resorts, and hotels. So the height is not uncommon in the city. For an industrial use, our heaviest industrial use is at the port, and that's where the most massive industrial buildings as far as height are located.
Thank you, because my concern with that is, we are proposing a text amendment change to increase, the height. So this would be setting a precedent for then other companies to come in and propose the same as well. So that is my concern. I don't have any other questions at this time, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And may we move down the line?
Madam Chair, I have one question about the start time that your trucks will be rolling. I see that you have, it's going to be over a 24-hour period, but what will be your start time and ending time? You have to have, a start and an ending time, so.
We currently don't have that plan in place yet to know what that would be. A lot of it depends on the demand in the market and when those deliveries need to be made. But it's advantageous to us to be on the road on off-peak hours so that we could be more efficient with our travel times as we deliver to the market. So we would not be looking to be, if you're concerned about some of the other impact of other traffic, we would not necessarily want to be during other peak times.
Well, it's not really the traffic, it's the noise from the trucks.
Hmm.
I live off of one block off from Martin Luther King, so I hear
Okay.
the trucks go by there. So that was one of my concerns. I know with Tropical that they normally start around 7. You start hearing the trucks come through about 7.
Okay.
So that's why I was asking that question.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Galvin, is that a question and concern that the applicant should take into consideration to provide you with an answer of resolution?
With me, yes, I'm retired, so I sleep all day. So,
That's a recommendation.
you know, so you have a lot of people that's retired, you know, in the city. So that, yes, I would say yes, they probably need to publish that somewhere where you will have a start time.
Yeah, at this time, I wouldn't be able to answer what that is. Thank you for asking about it. Understand the sensitivity to it, but at this time, we haven't put an operation plan together to know what that would be, but we certainly respect trying to manage around some of that time.
Okay.
Board member, Mr. Brown?
Yes. On the information that I saw earlier, there was a mention of 2 silos. Are those off the table? Or
I'm sorry, the two
silos?
silos, that would be part of the operation as well.
So there are going to be 2 silos on the,
Yes, yes, sir.
I didn't see them on the site plan.
I believe
The
that.
positioning on the site plan is not there.
On this particular view, yes, they're there on the side, but
That's a cross section though. I didn't see a footprint on this on the main site plan.
on the site plan?
The
Was
footprints aren't there.
Was it on the site plan?
And it's underneath the truck path, because they go underneath this to load.
It's underneath.
It's showing, the truck path is showing over the actual silo. I kind of circle it there, the 2 silos here and here.
Okay.
It's kind of covered up by the site, the truck path. The trucks load underneath the silos.
Could you respond into the microphone, please?
Amy Galvez with Allen Gerwig and Associates. I was explaining that on the site plan, there are 2 silos that are shown underneath the truck path, so it's a little hard to see them. They are also in the cross-section, but they are directly north of the dome, and the trucks go underneath the silos to load, which is why the truck path is covering them.
Okay. Just do the stairways have to be on the bridge side? Is that a must?
And, go ahead.
Mark Jackson with Florida Sun Star Logistics. The stairs have to be, that's part of the structure, so the piping from the ship will go underground and then come up the side inside the structure where the stairs are at to get to the top.
But do the stairs have to be on the bridge side?
They do because they're part of the structure that supports the pipe that goes to the top.
Okay. That's it, thank you. I have another question that might be for staff though. Is that me? I noticed there's this large area from the proposed site north to Martin Luther King, which is going to be included in the zoning amendment. Is there a plan for that area? I mean, did it have to be a zoning amendment as against some kind of variance? Staff?
We have no active applications for the rest of that area. The zoning text amendment came in for a larger area than just this site to facilitate future growth and development at the port. But certainly for the applicant's perspective, they need the height for their, 3.97 acres for their project. But I have no active applications for the rest of that, sir.
Okay. That's my 2 cents. Thank you.
And that concludes your questions, Board Member Brown?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, if we can loop around to Board Member Ms. Shepherd.
The trucks will be coming off of I-95?
Yes. Well, they'll be traveling along I-95 and then come onto Broadway, correct?
And they get off on Broadway? What exit are they taking to come to your site?
They would ever, I'm not familiar with some of the exits, but otherwise it'd be the common paths that other trucking companies would take that.
I think it's, was it Martin Luther King? That little area? Just where is these trucks coming from? Because it sounds like a whole lot of traffic. Coming down 8th, is it 8th Street? Where are you coming from?
Well, most of our operations would be down further south in Fort Lauderdale and Miami, so most of it would be coming from the south. And we would be just round tripping for picking up material and then delivering them to our locations in Fort Lauderdale and Miami. It sounds like a lot, but again, we try to just provide some perspective on the round trips that would be happening. But what we do is we supply our plants with additional material and cement.
But are you going to take 8th Street into the port? Is that where you're coming from 8th Street to the
I
port?
don't know if it's H Street or,
Martin Luther King.
yeah, Martin Luther
I'm sorry.
King, yes.
I'm sorry, Martin Luther King,
Yes.
I'm so
Mhm.
sorry. Is that the road you'll be taking?
Yes,
in?
ma'am.
Okay, and how many trucks?
We estimate 100 truck trips per day, which would be 50 round trip.
What will be in the trucks? I'm just
That
wondering.
would be cement. They would
Oh, it'd
come,
be the cement.
they would come empty and then they would get loaded and then delivered to the local market
Oh,
for support of construction.
okay. And how long will it take to build this particular structure?
We estimate it to take approximately 1 year to
A
build.
year?
Mhm.
And then your operation will begin?
Then we would begin, yes.
Okay. Well, I do think that the city of Riviera Beach deserve you.
Thank you.
Welcome to the city. And
Thank you.
And I love the Port of Palm Beach. They do quite a bit over there. People really don't know what they do, but they do quite a bit. So I thank you. And it sounds like a heavy project, and I'm wondering, is it going to affect us with the trucks coming and going? Because sometimes we get blocked up on that Martin Luther King Road. You know, it's kind of busy.
Right.
And that street was just redone, and, you know, the trucks, I don't know, but we have to get started somewhere.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate you coming to the city, and welcome.
Well, thank you for your support.
That concludes your questions?
I'm sorry, yes, I'm finished, ma'am.
All right, Board Member.
Yes, just to piggyback off Mrs. Shepherd, I was gonna say something along the same lines of where were you coming from? And you identified you coming from down south, coming to, possibly if you're coming here down Martin Luther King, you'd be getting off on 45th Street, more likely, and coming around. I was wondering, since you're gonna have about another 100 trucks, vehicles, what was the size of the vehicles that'll be coming? Were they for semi-trucks or?
They would be semi-trucks. We refer to them as bulker trucks, but they would be semi-sized trucks,
18
yes.
wheelers, pretty much?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, and I was just, again, I know it's gonna cause a problem for West Palm Beach because they would have to get off, and this is I'm born and raised here in the city, and that area is pretty much labeled as industrial, and it's one of the biggest proponents that I always stated that we needed to have a overpass, not an overpass, but an exit to be able to get off onto Martin Luther King Boulevard to make it more beneficial for the trucks coming into the city since it is an industrial area, and to take the traffic from Blue Heron and also for 45th to stop, for clogging up. Because like you said, if another 100 trucks are coming in to your business, which is good for your business, of course, but bad for the local traffic.
It would be 50 trucks, sir.
50 trucks
Yes.
back and forth.
Yes.
Right, so round trips. So, I mean, I'm not making a complaint about that. I'm just saying that it would actually be easier on everyone especially your drivers, if they can just get off and make one straight shot rather than have to turn corners with 18-wheelers on 45th. Another question also about with the size of the trucks being that big, is there any plan to where, as Ms. Shepherd was saying, that once these roads, in the next 3 or 4 years, to where they're damaged, is there anything in place to where there'll be the assistance to the city for repairs or anything like that? Because eventually the trucks will wear down the road, of course. So is there any plan in place for that?
Well, we would certainly be, supporting that through our local taxes and so forth, and we would try to support it in any way we could.
Right, just asking because,
Yes.
like I said, you won't be the only trucks going down the
Right.
road. So I'm not giving that responsibility, just saying that's maybe something that we need to look into also, rather than the city taking the full responsibility for that and having someone to contribute, to be able to help out just to keep the city.
Okay, thank you. I'll let Mr. Connington.
Ron Coddington, I'm the port engineer. Just to let you know, that is a strategic intermodal road, Martin Luther King is, so it's built to handle significant traffic and heavy traffic. And we have approximately 2,000 trucks a day coming into the Port of Palm Beach. So this actually will probably not be noticeable to most people.
Okay, thank you. And I want to ask about an area, and just so the people at home can understand, because I know she read through most everything, but the thing that I think concerns the neighborhood is about the air pollution, the dust collection. All aspects of the unloading and loading of the cement is accomplished in a closed and sealed system. All locations where air exhausted into the outside are protected by dust collectors, which are required to be 99.5% efficient, permitted through the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, and checked yearly to ensure that that there's no dust leakage occurring. Is that, just out of your words, just to hear you say, the neighborhood from West Palm Beach, the people in the neighborhood from the south, and also from the west of your organization, I just want to hear you say that it wouldn't pose any threat to the neighborhoods at all.
No, thank you for offering that detail. Absolutely not. We wouldn't see that being any risk or hazard to the community or the residents in the area. Again, we would follow all air permitting and maintenance of that equipment to make sure that it's in good repair.
Thank you. And also, will there be any effect on the water?
No, sir. Actually, water and cement don't mix very well unless you want to make concrete.
Right.
So,
Just want to protect the.
but thank you.
Protect the
Yeah.
life also. Thanks a lot, sir. And again, I just wanted to make sure that the people at home can hear that clearly, just so they understand, they can feel safe about what's going on and everything. Because you said also dealing with the cement, of course, your employees will be wearing masks and everything.
Yes.
Correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. Just making sure. Thanks a lot, sir. No more
Okay.
questions.
Thank you.
Okay.
Madam Chair, may I ask one more question?
Yes.
May I ask one more question? You touched on the employment status here. Is there a guarantee you're going to make sure our residents have a part of employment over there? Because people come to the city and they say, well, we're going to hire within the city, and and I'll be honest with you, they do not. This is a big project, and I'd just like to know how you're going to go about making sure that some of the residents have a place at your table. Can you kind of elaborate on that a little bit more?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking that. Again, I tried to share briefly in my presentation, we value local talent, local hiring. When we came to the South Florida area, particularly an example was in Miami Gardens. We had set up an operation down there, and we conducted, at the request of the city, several job fairs as well, and fortunately we were able to hire several employees from the community. That would be our intent, and we also, as we develop the project and it gets built, we would be looking to bring in those individuals before the operation starts to help train them and to help them learn the operation ahead of time. So the employees are an important piece of that, and I can appreciate the concerns of other individuals and other companies that say that, but I hope you can appreciate the genuine effort that we'll be making to do that.
Thank you.
And to compliment
I'm through.
Ms. Shepherd's question, we appreciate the genuineness of your efforts, but I like to see more teeth in it, and we ask that of every applicant that comes before this body. For example, that you work in coordination with the city of Riviera Beach in terms of perhaps the human resources department to put on a job fair.
Absolutely.
Not to wait on the city of Riviera Beach to do this, but like to see your organization, your company take the initiative. I like to see a comprehensive strategy that we have young people, that if you are bringing on interns, or if you look at graduates and they perhaps have an opportunity to join your organization, we're looking at the reentry program. Clearly, there would be opportunities for those individuals who are looking to transition back into society after they have done all the right things, that we do not want those individuals left out. This is a nonpartisan body here, so I like to see companies not particularly work with elected officials or former officials, but work in concert with our human resources department to develop those channels so that individuals can apply for these jobs. Most importantly, again, we hear a lot of, sound bites, but the jobs never manifest. I'll give you an example. Not too long ago, this particular board, we voted for a project to get constructed. I think it was somewhere around $27 million. And that business never opened its doors, and it never hired one person. And so we're sitting with a big structure that's basically no lights on. And we hopefully that's not going to happen to your business. And so we want to see you work a little bit more stringently in concert with the city. That in fact we get our residents hired, that we get them trained, that you pull from the general contractors from our community or the subcontractors, however that works, Riviera Beach first.
Thank you very much. We will certainly make every effort to do that, and we certainly will take the initiative on our own job fairs and work with the city as well.
Sure, I like to see that in writing, if you provide that to the P&Z board, really specifically what those efforts are going to be. And on our side, we like to work with you to make sure that we help get the word out or provide the channels for you to get the word out. But I like to have that more in writing, that it's comprehensive. Next, in terms of, for me, we talk about increasing the tax base. Of course, you're leasing the space from the port. You're paying a specific fee to them. And after all is said and done with your overhead, your expenses, we're going to see, I guess, business taxes. I guess I cannot really ask what that number is going to be, but after everything is said and done, is that where we are kind of going to see our increase in taxes? I want to understand the value that you bring to the other neighborhoods or municipalities in terms of tax base.
Correct. We currently are looking at unimproved land, and so once that's an improved property too, that the valuation would increase as well, and I think that would then flow through to be a benefit of Riviera Beach as well.
You talked about the structure itself. Can we put the structure up, the cement tank dome? In terms of, yes. This is your rendering. I would like to see other renderings. Again, you're the gateway into Riviera Beach. we'd like to have you showcase your company as well as the city. Is it possible to get other renderings or show us examples of renderings that you have done in other municipalities of similar type projects that may differ from this? Would you welcome community input? Yes, the city council speaks for the city of Riviera Beach, but really it's our residents who speak for ourselves, and we share what we think not only to the city council, but also to our neighbors. You are going to be our neighbor. Every day I get up, I'm going to drive past day and night of your structure here and its illustration. I want to stop on that bridge and just marvel. I want to say, wow, this looks great. This looks beautiful. Is it possible to get other renderings?
We've certainly are open to that. There are some limitations to the physical nature of the structure itself to be able to do anything with any great detail, but we would be open to getting other feedback from it as well.
We would provide you with the feedback, but I'm asking for you to provide another option.
Okay.
Perhaps you have other options that you've done elsewhere to share with us, but this is one, if you could share other options.
We could certainly give you some other options, and this is actually a unique structure for us. If I were to show you one of the other structures that we've done, it's white, and it sits more in an industrial area, so we've actually...
Want that one.
No, you don't. So we would actually can offer several other renderings to you as well.
Okay, and again, this is the gateway into Riviera Beach. Let me just share that being a gateway and the bridge that this structure, your company is going to be present at. Currently, if you were on this bridge, it's an absolute eyesore. And the other day, when I and my neighbors, we walked that bridge, you could imagine, because it's an eyesore, that passerbyers going north or south on that bridge take their bottles and take their trash, and they just throw it on the bridge. So there are generally big chunks of glass that are about this big, that if you're not familiar with that bridge, and I'm surprised we haven't had anybody rush to the hospital from really harming themselves, and we nearly harmed ourselves as neighbors because we had flip-flops and rubber shoes on, and the whole time we were dodging big pieces of glass. I'm sure people were trying to throw, for fun, bottles over the bridge, the walkway, into the port where it was just going to drop down and just hit the port. Maybe they've made it. In most cases, they didn't sit right there at the bridge. My question is that this being a gateway, your commitment to work with the port and other partners to help resolve this, because really it becomes a reflection that no one is going to really say that this is support. They'll probably refer those instances to your organization. I don't want that to happen. But I think, though, the port should be supportive in working with you and other partners, because this is the gateway. When we come over bridges in other municipalities, for the holidays, they're lit up. For the holidays, there may be our country's flag waving or other representation of our country and states, etc. You know, I like to see this really a glorified area to do justice to your renderings and to do justice to you coming to Riviera Beach. And when those individuals, guests, are coming over the bridge just as much as I walk it, we stop and say, wow, look what Riviera Beach has done. But it's not really Riviera Beach. It would be you and your partners.
Absolutely. We would love to have that same image as well. It's a reflection on us as much as it would be Riviera Beach and the port. And perhaps Mr. Connington could comment on the bridge as well? That might be helpful.
I think another positive thing that's happening here between the Port of Palm Beach and Riviera Beach is that we've reestablished a working relationship revolving around interlocal agreements, but we're now on a schedule to meet, I'm not sure if we decided on it every 2 weeks or every 2 to 4 weeks, with the senior members of your staff and the senior members of our staff to discuss issues between the Port of Palm Beach and Riviera Beach in all phases. It's a wide open discussion to discuss anything. I will make sure that that is brought up at the next meeting, and so will Mr. Baker, our Director of Planning. So we'll begin that as one of the items we're discussing with Riviera Beach to work together for the appearance of the bridge and the gateway to and the entrance to Riviera Beach.
Yeah, and that would be great, because right now, I live over there. It is certainly not impressive when I look at other bridges that are in the area and other municipalities. But most importantly, it's a hazard, it's a danger in the sense that, again, people walk that bridge, and we're navigating, unfortunately, the dangerous trash. So, you know, there has to be some plan to, you know, constant cleanup or whatever we can deter people from throwing, you know, dangerous items on either side of the bridge that misses the port but hits the bridge. Let's see.
Madam Chair,
Sure, yes.
I have a question. This is going to be directed at staff. Does the city keep stats on how many residents are hired by companies such as the one we have present with us tonight? Because in the recommendations, number 9, it is advertised, and it's one thing to say you're going to participate, and we know you can participate, but what is the measurement after the fact? Okay, so we held a job fair, this company participated. How many people were actually hired from that interaction? Does the city keep stats on that information?
That's a great question. As of now, I don't believe that we do, but I will note that with the recent action this board took, you had another project that offered to work with the community and hire local residents and local vendors and subcontractors to the best of their ability. And this board actually placed a supplemental condition, and staff wordsmithed it at your direction, and we asked them to provide at 6 months post-certificate of occupancy a report to the department that showed the percentage of employees that had been successfully hired for both construction and for long-term positions from the local area. And we could certainly supplement condition number 9 and ask for an after-action report so that we could start tracking that information.
I would say we need to do that because, like I said, anyone can participate in the job fair. It just shows that you participated, but we want the measurement. We want to know that you're really doing what you're saying. If we're not keeping stats on that, we're not going to know.
That's great. I can pull up some language for the board and suggest it for you later in the meeting.
Thank you.
Do we have further questions from our board? Let me ask the board a question before we move on to voting. We don't want to hold up the project. However, I'd like to see from this applicant and every applicant that comes before us a comprehensive plan of their engagement in terms of employment for Riviera Beach. I know that we have some things to do on our end, but I'd like to see what the applicant is going to certainly propose and commit to and get started on. We talked about the beautification of the gateway, and I like to also see renderings in addition to the collaboration with various partners to improve the gateway from that particular, coming from West Palm Beach into Riviera Beach. The most important thing is that we are unique as a city with a port. And not only that, right next door to the port is our marina. And what's going to be right next door to that is the phase 2 of our marina. So it's great that your business is coming here. It is equally as important that this is a long stretch of gateway into the city of Riviera Beach, and your business, your company sets the tone as visitors enter and leave. And I just really want to make that clear, that when you bring back renderings and talk about the proposed beautification of that bridge, we like to see that. This is just very important because of where you're positioned.
Thank you. We'll certainly do that.
Let's see, was there anything else?
Madam Chair, were you suggesting a edit to one of the conditions?
Yes, I'd like to have that as a condition and present it to the P&Z staff. I'm not sure the question came from down that way.
Mm-hmm.
And is that relative to providing a concept plan for the improvement of the bridge gateway?
Absolutely.
So at the end of that condition number 10, you're suggesting that we add and further provide a conceptual design for beautification of the gateway and bridge?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Madam Chair, I have the supplemental language for the other condition, if you'd like me to suggest it for the board to consider.
Is that what you just mentioned just a moment ago? Or
For-
is it also with the, providing us with another illustration or schematic of what the dome could look like?
No, it was relative to employment, but
Okay.
shall I proceed?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
definitely relative to employment.
Okay, and so that would be condition number 9, and possible language for the board to consider to add at the end of that. The developer shall provide a report to the Development Services Department at 6 months post-certificate of occupancy, documenting the outreach efforts to acquire local employees, the number of local employees hired, subject to employment and privacy laws, and the percentage of construction costs expended with local vendors and subcontractors.
Okay, and the measurement piece to provide stats so that we can evaluate that the commitment was kept?
Yes, well, for statistics, I asked them to provide number of local employees hired. Was there another metric that you would like?
And it could be made or two. It's also businesses here, general contractors, businesses. The subcontractors, that is not important because those businesses will hire those subcontractors.
Okay.
But our businesses want at least a hand in the pot as well.
Okay. So I'll add that in, the number of local businesses contracted with.
And just for the illustration schematic, just another illustration.
Okay, this says, the
That could get tied into the beautification portion too. It doesn't have to be separate.
I can add on to condition number 11, at the end of that condition, the applicant shall provide an alternate rendering
That's
for consideration.
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so if that is okay, then let's look at moving forward and making a vote. And let's start with item A in terms of the code request changes.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
will you be adding the added conditions to the motion? Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
When the motion maker,
Yes.
makes the motion.
So I'm going to add the added conditions to agenda item B. Let A stand alone, and we can add the conditions to B. Okay. All right. At this point, I am going to ask for a motion on item number A regarding Florida Sunstar Logistics in terms of revising the Land Development Code for IG General Industrial to insert new subsection A into section 31-383, increasing the allowable building height in the center area of the port from 50 feet to 150 feet, where the central area is defined as that area bordered by Westport Road and Broadway Avenue, Avenue E, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, identified by parcel control number 56 43 42 33 29 000 0020, and providing for conflicts, severability, and codification, and providing for an effective date. May I have a motion, please?
So move.
Second.
May we have a roll count, please?
Anthony Brown?
I'm not voting, remember? Hmm? No.
William Wiley?
Yes.
Barbara Shepherd?
Yes.
James Allen?
Yes.
Renee Burgess? Yes. Evelyn Harris Clark?
Yes.
That vote passed with Board Member Brown abstaining.
Okay. All right. To the
Madam Chair.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I have a question. I noticed on here that this applicant is already providing monies for landscape and improvements for this area.
Yes.
So are we asking them to do more than what they're already providing?
If I may, Madam Chair?
Yes.
I could tackle that for you. So that's a great question, and normally when this board reviews a site plan for development, as you know, landscaping and irrigation is included in your analysis. And at the port, the entire area is basically paved. There's no landscaping within the port, and certainly landscaping would likely not last long with all the truck traffic. However, In working with the applicant, staff asked that they calculate the amount of landscaping and costs that they would expend for that with the irrigation if this were not in the port. In other words, what landscaping would you be doing that you're not because of your location? And they did prepare a memorandum, and that is in your packet, and they quantified that cost to $45,000, $285.15. And so we asked the applicant to consider, and they consented, providing a check to the city so that the city could mitigate the impact of their development for the residents outside of the port, where it would actually be beneficial and have more of an impact. So that's a great question. That's why we're asking them to provide that to the city, and they did consent, and we appreciate that.
So couldn't some of these funds be used to do something on the bridge?
Staff is suggesting that the landscape is a separate item from the bridge. Certainly, that's something that the city council could take up, but landscaping is separate from capital improvements.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now let's go to item number B in terms of the resolution. And I don't have all of the proper language for the conditions, but there are 3 conditions, and you have the language there. So would it be proper if I go ahead and read part of the B, and you could reiterate the language of the condition?
Certainly, I'm happy to
Okay,
read.
let me go ahead and start to ask for a motion on item B, that we accept the Sunstar Logistics LLC application to allow the construction of an industrial cement storage tank, AKA dome, and accessory office and equipment buildings on the 3.97 acre area at the port identified by parcel control number 5643423329000020, having a port future land designation and general industrial IG zoning designation, providing for conditions of approval and providing for an effective date, also with the added 3 conditions, if you could share those conditions for the motion.
Yes, ma'am. Would you like me to read all of the conditions?
Yes, because they tie into item B for the vote.
All right. Why don't I read them all in their entirety, if you'll bear with me? 1, the applicant shall provide a check payable to the city of Riviera Beach for not less than $45,285.15 for landscape improvements in the city prior to the issuance of a building permit. 2, construction must be initiated within 18 months of the effective date of this resolution in accordance with Section 31-60B of the City Code of Ordinances. Demolition, site preparation, and/or land clearing shall not be considered construction. Building permit application and associated plans and documents shall be submitted in its entirety and shall not be accepted by city staff in a partial or incomplete manner. 3, City Council authorizes city staff to approve future amendments to the site plan administratively, so long as the site plan does not deviate greater than 5% from the original approved site plan. 4, this development must receive final certificate of occupancy from the city for all buildings and/or units approved within 5 years of the approval of the adopting resolution, or the adopting resolution shall be considered null and void, requiring the applicant to resubmit application for site plan approval and reinitiate the site plan approval process. 5, all future advertising must state that the development is located in the city of Riviera Beach. Fees and penalties in accordance with City Code Section 31-554 will be levied against the property owner and/or businesses for violation of this condition. 6, once approved, this resolution shall supersede any previous site plan approval resolutions associated with this property, causing previous site plan approval resolutions to be null and void. 7, the concurrently processed ordinance ZA 2101 must be adopted, approved, and become effective prior to the site plan approval becoming effective. 8, the applicant shall consider partnering with the city as possible to identify opportunities to provide outreach and support to local residents, including but not limited to programs such as the Youth Empowerment Program, the Reentry Center, or the establishment of a charitable foundation. 9, the applicant shall actively advertise employment opportunities for temporary and permanent positions within the city of Riviera Beach, including participation at community job fairs or hosting specialized recruitment events. The developer shall provide a report to the Development Services Department at 6 months post-certificate of occupancy, documenting the outreach efforts to acquire local employees, the number of local employees hired, the number of local businesses contracted with, subject to local employment and privacy laws, as well as the percentage of construction costs expended with local vendors. 10, because the location of the dome structure, bridge, and intersection of Access Road and Broadway offer a unique opportunity to visually invite residents, businesses, and the public into the city of Riviera Beach, Florida Sunstar Logistics shall participate in efforts to enhance, beautify the bridge and southern gateway to the city by working with the city and other partners, and further shall provide a conceptual design for beautification of the gateway and bridge to the city. 11, the final design of the mural on the dome structure shall be to the satisfaction of the City Council and installed prior to the issuance of the certificate of occupancy. The applicant shall provide an alternative rendering for consideration.
Thank you. And so I ask the board that we accept the motion as presented with the language conditions for approval.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
Thank you. And may we have a vote, please? Count.
William Marty.
Yes.
Margaret Shepherd.
Yes.
James Downey.
Yes.
Renee Burgess.
Yes.
Evelyn Paris Clark.
Yes.
That vote passed with Board Member Brown abstaining.
And to our guests from Florida Sunstar LLC, welcome to Riviera Beach. And we look forward to your future horizon and being good neighbors and a part of our lovely city here.
Thank you. We look forward to the relationship for a long time. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yes. Do we have a question for Mr. Wiley, if you didn't mind?
No, this is just really off the record, because I see the sign, and like I said, I'm really a fan of lights and illumination and stuff like that. Coming from south or going north, doesn't matter. Are you gonna have the Riviera Beach sign on both sides, or is it just gonna be facing west? It'll be both sides. So it'll be that big, or?
Yeah, the illumination is similar to what you see there.
Right.
And they're pretty substantial panels that will go up there, but it'll give you, it's a very large sign.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, it's really, we're thinking of, being a point of interest for people to see, and it's really focal point for Riviera Beach.
Well, this is a big project. It's something different for the city of Riviera Beach. And you have our marquee entry gate that's very important to us. And the gentleman, Mr. Vanderbilt, talked about that other building that was all white. We don't want anything looking like that. Okay. And again, thank you and welcome to our city.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let me go on to the agenda. we'll just give a moment. Okay, let's go on to our next agenda item, workshop items. I see that we don't have any, but I do have a question that everybody probably, oh, I see that you presented blank copies to us as well. So I guess we'll be turning these in as workshop items, because that's exactly what this is. This would be workshop items, so we can turn those in. Okay, going on to the next agenda item, general discussion. And do we have any public comments via digital or no one present?
No, ma'am, I don't have any.
Okay, no public comments? Okay. All right, do we have any correspondence? And I see that we have Planning and Zoning Board upcoming training.
Correct, and I just wanted to underscore what you already touched on. We did send out a survey, and we're excited to get your feedback to help guide us. And we also asked Ms. Lina to complete the survey as well. And we're looking at a real kind of group process here. We're very excited. So once we get your feedback, Ms. Davidson and the team and I will, assimilate it, and then we'll reach back out to you and talk about how we're going to proceed.
And that's terrific. Even though I fill this out, I'm going to take a blank one, and I'll probably turn in another one.
That's fine, because this will be great. We appreciate all the input you give us. So if you think of something else, you have an extra survey in there, or you can always email us as well.
Okay, all right, thank you. And let's go on to item number C, Planning and Zoning Board members' comments. And let's start all the way to my far left and just come on down. We're going to start with Mr. Brown.
No comments, Madam Chair.
I have one. I would like to make sure that staff put in that verbiage about the employment opportunities. I think when we have applicants come on board, we need to track how many of our citizens are being hired. So if we can put that in writing when we get applicants.
Oh, yes,
Make
sir.
it, make it part of their,
Like a standard condition?
yes.
I think that is something that we've talked about doing, is these conditions that we keep refining. We'll prepare some standard conditions. That's an excellent point.
Thank you. That's it.
Madam Chair, I just was going to piggyback off of what Mr. Gallen stated. I don't think it's robbery for us to ask these companies when they're coming here for our location to ask for them to hire some people from our city, to give our businesses work, to hire our contractors. It's just been going on for far too long. This is prime real estate all the way around, ocean, everything. And so when you ask to come into these cities, like other cities do, give us something for what we're giving you. So most definitely, we will continue to stay on top of that and making sure that that's done for the benefit of the people who live here, who have to put up with the truck noise 7 o'clock in the morning, for those of us who are not retired. I travel that road every morning to work, and I see the big tractor trailer trucks out alongside of the road. You know, I often get stuck by the train in the morning if I'm not out by a certain time. And so, you know, I live here, I invest in this community as well, just like they're doing with their business, so we just want to make sure we get good business partners.
I concur wholeheartedly with Board Member Brown and Vice Chair Burgess. And one time she asked me if I preached, and I got to ask her the same question. I think she preached. And I want the buck to stop here with this board. We volunteer our time. We are very methodical and pragmatic as we look at each applicant. And if someone needs to conduct the business of the city and look out for our residents in terms of employment and our businesses in terms of opportunity, let that start with us. And we are willing to take on that challenge. We had discussions earlier, a conference call earlier, and I am very adamant that we as a city provide the portal for these companies to be able to advertise the employment opportunities in a nonpartisan way. And again, I would like that to be sponsored by the P&Z board, that we receive the recognition, because I believe that we are truly the ones who are pushing it forward, because those opportunities present itself to us first. And if we need to have further discussion as to how we as a body can shape this at one of the workshops, let's put that on the agenda so that we can start to shape this and let it be the precedent going forward.
Yes, again, I would like to, the same thing, to agree with my board members and saying that it's about time we start getting the businesses to start giving back to the community. And that being said, talking about businesses giving back, UPS, the organization, remember a couple weeks ago we approved, not a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago, we approved UPS to expand that.
They broke ground.
Now, let me say this, and I mean this wholeheartedly. I saw how much I participated with the community and the drive-in theater, right? And I saw a lot of people really enjoying it and having a good time. And now that I see that that's being taken away now, and I'm like, wow, I wish I would have known this before we made this decision there, or at least we have some kind of alternative plan in place to be able to make it to where. And I'm actively trying to find another location for that anyway, because the people really, really enjoyed that. I didn't think it would be that big of a hit, but it's a smash. I mean, it's to the point where 30 cars were still lined up on the road, and they couldn't get in to see the movies, and they were thinking about opening 2 shows. So anyway, let me get past that. UPS has now decided, thanks to Mrs. Shirley Lanier of District 3, we had a district a traffic calming analysis on March 31st, where we had a meeting next door, and we discussed the fact that the trucks coming through the area, because a lot of people been complaining, especially coming through Federal Gardens. And what they decided to do, they actually going to contribute $40,000 to making this go away at some point. And they gave a lot of options. They came in and did a presentation, and they came up with a lot of options on what they're going to do. So what we're going to do in the next coming weeks, we're going to go door to door in Federal Gardens and kind of give them these options, and they kind of handed out this little pamphlet that we're going to give everyone and let them know what options we have. Now, the signage is going to be definitely guaranteed. That's one of the mainstays. Well, I'm putting proper signage in certain areas to where the trucks will not be located there. The main thing I think was there was also a traffic circle, beautification circle, to where they're going to take some of the public, take some of the private, not private property, it's public property on the corners, and make that a roundabout to where it would stop the trucks from either going through there and stopping people from speeding through on both sides. And one, they had I think it's a bit extreme, but they talked about cutting that off completely to where the kids will still be able to walk back and forth through that, but it'd be cut off, and then your only escape out of, I don't say escape, but your only way to be able to get out of Federal Gardens would be through 13th or 11th Street. But I think that would cause the problem during school time with Suncoast, to where when they're actually going into school, we will have to go out that way. Then the only alternative to that was make it a partial to where you can only go outside going west, going east out of Federal Gardens. you'll only be able to exit that way, and then, you know, and in that way, that avoid the thing. But what we're gonna do now is that, from what Mrs. Lanier is trying to get done, is that we're gonna go around to each and every person inside Federal Gardens, and we're gonna see what their idea is on this. And I'm pretty sure they're gonna lean toward the roundabout, which probably will not mess with the bus changes, because I know buses come back and forth through there, and that won't change their routes or anything like that. But I'm pretty sure that's probably gonna be a good idea that we're gonna have. But I want to thank Mrs. Lanier for being able to make something that we, you know, came to the table with us, that she kind of got this company to commit to putting in $40,000, about approximately $40,000, to be able to say, hey, we're going to commit to the city, even though their trucks are not the ones coming through anymore, because they put in some rules and regulations to stop them from doing so. But they still say thank you for allowing us to be able to expand and be able to become a better company. So now we're going to contribute back to the city and being able to do so. And like you guys said, I think that's the thing that we need to start making the companies do when they come into the city of Riviera Beach. Make it to where they give something back to our community, to where they show that if you want to be a part of us and we want to be a part of one big community, be able to contribute where it benefits us the most. So I just want to bring that to your attention.
Thank you for the update, and I concur with all of my colleagues. We should not be bashful in terms of expectations, because certain other municipalities certainly are not bashful, and they are building around us, whether they're nearby or far, and I'm pretty sure they got what they wanted. So let us not be bashful and look out for our residents, and what we can do here at the board, let's ask for it and take that step. And thank you, and let's defer to Board Member Ms. Shepherd.
Once again, I'm glad we're having this conversation about our residents being a part of building this city. For many years, we have been shortchanged. They say they're going to do it, and then they don't. You don't see any of us out there. And I think we should really make sure to continue to tell them we want participation. The only group that I've seen that made sure that they were going to push the issue of our city getting our employees, our contractors, and that was Riviera Beach Housing Authority when they built the Her Estates. And most of those guys, they were a part of this city. They were a part of this city. And they stressed it because they wanted to be good partners in the city. And this is what we have to do. Make sure they sign that agreement and then start fining them if they don't. The city of Riviera Beach for so many years, zip code is 33404 Riviera Beach, but they use Palm Beach Gardens, West Palm Beach, whatever they want to do. And we have to start stressing these things. And it start with planning and zoning, and it start with us going to the city council meetings and say, hey, this is what we need to do. Keep on talking, and sooner or later they'll catch the fire like we're going to catch the fire. Now we have this great project, and I'm very proud they came here. They were very humble, and I'm waiting to see what are they going to do. But I really enjoyed the conversation of employment, because we deserve it. We deserve it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. Okay, and project updates and upcoming projects?
Madam Chair, I wanted to update the board. We're working internally to set up a section on our webpage for the Planning and Zoning Board to have access to log in, where I can post information on projects for you to, another way for you to obtain information from staff, and to also, if you're having trouble sleeping, or you want to read something, you could, get a log on and take a look at what we have coming. So I'm working on that now with IT. I don't have it all ironed out, but I just want you to be aware that I heard you. I also want to let the board and the members know that if any of you feel that it would be beneficial to set up a recurring call, every 2 weeks or a week before a meeting or whatever, if that would be helpful to you. I'm always available. If you get the packet from us, we're trying to send it out earlier. I just found out that we might have an opportunity to switch to a different way to deliver the packet to you, more like the city council gets theirs, and that might allow us to do it a little bit more in advance for you. But if you ever get material from us and you have any questions, I am here, by all means, give me a call, send me an email. You want to set up a call or connect, I want to make sure that you have what you need, and I'm happy to answer any question. So we are working on that in our continual improvement kind of process. That being said, we don't have anything on the agenda for April 22nd, so that meeting is going to be canceled. You will not see us again until your meeting of May 13th. That works well for us because we can work on developing the training. And we have a number of projects, but they're just not ready to come before you at this time.
Okay, thank you. When we have cancellations of meetings, I would like to see that we use that time constructively, that we as a board go through training or a workshop with staff. I understand that the upcoming meeting is going to be canceled because you need time to pull the training together. After we get, what's the word I want to say, get our rhythm, and moving forward, that we become stronger as a board, and we help the staff, and the staff helps us, and we have some workshops.
Okay. Very good. And duly noted, Madam Chair.
Thank you, thank you. If we do not have any further business, then we had an excellent meeting tonight, and I thank each one of our board members, and especially the staff and the residents for viewing and seeing how we conduct city business. And since there's nothing else further, may I have a motion that we adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Adjourn. There's my gavel.